Section 8 clients. Do you get like a list of people?
My name is Lien, and I just recently.
Okay. So think about your workflow. Again,
I don't know how to do it.
I know how to do it, and I'm trying to instruct other people to do better in their business, but I also have to do better in my business.
Hey everyone out there in YouTube land and the Metro Detroit Off Market Facebook group, or also my personal Facebook group, personal Facebook page as well. I'm looking here to share it to the Facebook group. Anyways, with that being said, I have this wonderful person. We reached out and we're talking all about tax liens and tax deeds today. Okay. With that being said, he is a remarkable person. I've read some of the things about him that, this is stuff that I don't even understand myself. So, selfishly, I'm having him on here, and you guys get to take some benefit from it. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring on Ted Thomas. He's going to talk all about tax liens, tax deeds, and hopefully I can get some juicy secrets out of him. All right, Ted, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm great, just fine. Thanks for the invitation.
No problem. So, tell me a little bit about how you got started in real estate, and how did you get? Because I'm sure you probably didn't just wake up and say, I think I'm going to do real estate today.
I'm not sure I woke up, but I'm here. So we'll do the best we can. So to tell a little background, my first career was as an airline pilot, and that was a great career. Then when I stopped flying, I got involved in real estate. And there's all different kinds of real estate, as you know. And there's everything from, doing lease options to being a wholesaler to being whatever. You could name it, and people have tried it. One of the things that I found out was that a lot of distressed property in the United States, when the economy changes, real estate really changes dramatically. I mean, like half of the business can collapse if the interest rates go up,
Oh, yeah.
So I was in the business of buying foreclosures and reselling them. I invented a system years ago that we could actually buy with direct mail and then resell with newspaper ads. And that was a good business. And I then progressed to learning about tax liens and tax defaulted property. And I never believed the rates of return. For example, you're in Michigan, so this is kind of fun for me to tell you this. So I've been involved in tax liens and deeds for 30 years, one way or another. And when I started, I used to have black hair, and I don't have any black hair anymore. And I used to be skinny. And in those days, we used to send our clients to Michigan, of all places. Now, I'm in Florida now. At that time, I lived in California. And we would send our clients to Michigan. And the reason we sent them to Michigan is that on a tax lien certificate, the state of Michigan paid 50% on a tax lien certificate. So if you don't know what a tax lien certificate is, I'll give you a brief background.
Yeah, please do. Yeah.
Just jump in. So a tax lien certificate is, first of all, every property in the United States has a tax. Whether you like it or not, the legislature requires everybody to pay a property tax. If they didn't pay it in Michigan at that time that I'm talking about, they didn't pay the tax, what would happen is the state of Michigan would say, all right, we're going to put your property in default. And when we do that, then what we're going to do is we're going to sell your taxes to somebody else. When they sell it to somebody else, what will happen is that somebody else will pay your tax. Then when you come in to pay your tax, because you're late, when you come in to pay, you'll have to pay a 50% penalty. Wow. So we would sell, this is what a tax lien looks like, just like that. So the tax lien certificate, so all the counties in Michigan, I think there's about 77 counties, those counties would all sell tax lien certificates. So we would send people to go there and pay someone else's taxes. and you'll get a certificate like this, which proved you own the tax certificate. And when the people did come in to pay, now 95 to 97% nationwide will come in and repay. There's a certain percent that won't repay, and I'll talk about that in a minute. All right. So then when they come back in, they want their certificate back. Well, then you give them their certificate back, but you get all your money plus 50%. Now, can you imagine making 50% on real estate and you didn't even have to buy any? So it was just a powerful business. Now, today in Michigan, they've changed it. And we literally have not dozens, but hundreds of clients that go to Michigan to buy tax defaulted property. Now, we don't do a lot in Detroit, in Oakland County and so on, but we do lots in all the other counties. And so at any rate, tax lien certificates turned out to be one heck of a booming business because it's nationwide. So quick background, there's 3,000 plus counties. They all sell tax defaulted properties, but about half of them are very benevolent. The ones that are benevolent, about 1,700 of them, they all sell tax defaulted tax liens first. And then if the people don't pay the tax lien, then there's a tax defaulted auction. So I got in the business because it was so powerful and a way to make quite a bit of money. So there's a lot of money in the business once you learn how to do it. Now, it's not like a quick flip thing where you buy a property today and you sell it on Friday afternoon, because you have to go through the process of buying it. Then they go through a process of making sure that all the paperwork's done right. And you finally get the deed. And then you can go ahead and sell it and so on. There's nothing complicated about it, but it's a process. You have to learn the process.
And how long does that process usually take?
The minimum time the person starting to really doing something is probably 30 to 60 days. In some places, a little faster than that. In Texas, they do it quicker. California, it's a little slower. It's just a little different because the states are a little bit different. But you have to be careful because even in Michigan, with all the counties can have their own rules. You see, a county is a taxing jurisdiction. Every taxing jurisdiction is kind of governed a little bit differently. That doesn't mean one's like day and one's like night, but they're a little bit different. So you always have to read the rules for the auction and know what's going on. But there's plenty for everybody. I mean, I could do a class like this every night. Now, we do classes all the time because we have guides that guide people every single day. I mean, I have 14 people doing this.
And how did you discover tax liens? And maybe I missed it when you said it. I apologize for that. But how did you discover, I can make money in tax liens. I can make money in tax deeds or whatever.
Well, everybody that gets involved in foreclosure learns very quickly that liens could get in front of some of the foreclosure loans. Like you could have a third loan foreclosing, and there could be a second loan and a first loan. And then I said, well, what is this other loan, which nobody talks about? It's really not a loan, it's a tax. And so the tax is always the number one priority. And I said, wait a minute. If I buy that tax, then I could foreclose, which is what the government does, and wipes out all the liens. So if you were to buy a tax defaulted property in Detroit or any other county in Michigan, when that takes place, they wiped out all the other liens. They just wiped them right off the property. It's not something that's sophisticated. It's the law in every county in the United States. So once I learned that, I said, whoa, wait a minute. Why don't I buy below wholesale? Why don't I buy for 10 cents, 7 cents? We buy properties in California for 7, 8 cents on the dollar. People don't believe it, but we do it.
So how do you get past, say, the redemption period, from those tax liens?
Okay, well, you could almost say to yourself, there is no redemption period.
Okay.
There's only certain states. There's only 5 states that have redemption. There's only 5.
Oh, really?
That's all. And once you learn what redemption's all about, that's a powerful way to make money. So let me give you an idea of redemption. So I live in Florida, so we send hundreds of people to Georgia. Georgia's a redemption state. So when they sell the tax deed, it's a redeemable deed. And that means that property owner can come back any day for 365 days and say, I want my property back. Now listen to what I'm going to say. They want their property back, and you say, yes, you can have your property. You have to say, you can have your property back. However, in order for me to give it back to you, you have to give me all the money I paid plus 20%. So how would you like to buy real estate, make 20%, you never had to own the real estate? That's a redeemable state. Texas,
Yeah.
same kind of thing, and they pay 25%.
So every
Wow.
state governs their own max interest rate that you can charge.
Yeah, like if
for
you went
that.
to Iowa and bought tax lien certificates, they'll pay
Mhm.
24%. And just recently, just the last 2 years, Illinois just changed. Illinois used to pay 36%. They just went
Oh,
back
wow.
to they just went back to 18%. They used to
So the
pay 36.
higher the interest rate, the less likely they're going to redeem it.
Not so. There's no fast rule like that. The
Okay.
redemption really depends upon when people are going to come back and redeem. Is did they get healthy again? Like they might have had an automobile accident. They didn't have insurance.
Yeah.
Now they got to buy a car and they can't afford to pay their tax. Or maybe they had a car accident and the wife just had a baby, and then
Mhm.
they had a hurricane. Well, they had a big windstorm in Illinois, blew the roof off. So when they catch up on the bills, then they'll catch up on taxes. And the tax laws recognize that. The tax laws recognize that, and they give people lots of time to pay their taxes. I mean, something goes to default. The only state that's fast, I mean, Texas is ruthless. They give them 180 days. If you don't pay your tax in 180 days, the foreclosure law in Texas is even worse. Foreclosure law in Texas is 21 days. If you go to foreclosure today, that'll probably be sold on the 21st day on the courthouse steps.
Wow.
So it's just a business of knowing. But all of this information is free. I mean, you can go online and get all the information you want. I mean, it pays to know what to get, so you don't waste your time.
Of
You get the
course.
idea.
Well, that's the same thing with anything, like
Right.
why do we have wholesaling courses when people can go out there and learn it on YouTube? Well, it's because it's convenient to have everything in one place, and you know what you're looking for. So
Exactly.
now tell me the difference between a tax lien and a tax deed.
Okay, now I like it when you ask that question because if more people understood that, they would save themselves a lot of grief. Okay, a tax lien auction simply means someone's in default. The county is saying to them, look, we're going to sell your taxes. And they will sell the taxes to anybody that wants to show up at the auction that has cash. Anybody that's got cash, it's a public auction. And so what they want is they want to sell a certificate. So when you buy a tax lien, you buy a piece of paper, just like I'm holding in my hand. Now, this one happens to be covered with plastic because I use it all the time. There's a piece of paper. When you buy a tax lien certificate, you did not get any real estate. You have no permission to go on that property. You can't charge rent. You can't harass the people. You can't even talk to them. Okay. So that you just bought the right to collect that interest rate. Now, the interest rate could be like as high as 18% in Florida, 16% in Arizona. I told you about Iowa paying 24%. All right. So all you did when you bought the certificate is have a right to collect that money. Now, if you could collect 24% on your money and you had money in the bank, now think about money in the bank, less than 5%, you go over here and get 24%. That's pretty much a no-brainer. So that's what a tax lien certificate is. All right, but what most real estate people want is they actually want, and this is one here, this is a tax deed. Okay, so it's a deed just like you saw in any deal that you ever did. It's a deed, and what the government does is they confiscate the property. So understand, they seized the property. They took the property away from the owner. They pushed the owner off the property, or they pushed the renter off the property. Now they've seized the property. The local government, no county wants more property. I mean, they already own the schools. They own the county buildings. They own the roads. They own the parks. They don't want any of that stuff. They just want to get rid of it. All right. So then they will put that property up for auction. And the starting bid on the tax deed will usually be very close to back taxes. Now, if you're a real estate investor, you just went touchdown because now you see all the flippers, all the wholesalers, all the foreclosure guys, they're buying 30, 40, maybe some people are getting probates, some people getting bankruptcy. We're buying back taxes.
Right.
Now, did they all go for back taxes? No, because you're a smart guy. You look at that property and say, no, that thing's worth $200,000. I'm going to bid on it. So you bid 50 grand. So, oh, well, if I wanted, I got to bid 55. And George over in the back, he bids 100. You and I are both going home empty-handed. So some people bid them up. Now, the challenge is a lot of people don't understand what they're doing, in
Mhm.
life. And so they go to these auctions, they bid them up. And then they
Okay.
can't sell them. They can't sell them, or they've never, most tax properties, you can't go inside. So,
Right.
you don't do it. You don't rebuild a kitchen for 10 grand anymore. It's more like 30 grand or 40 to rebuild a kitchen nicer and a bathroom.
Mhm.
So these guys get into it and they start fixing it. They go bankrupt right in the middle of it. I'm sure you see plenty of those in and around Detroit. They go
Right.
they're
Most
bankrupt.
definitely.
Yeah.
So let me get this straight. So a tax deed, you're actually purchasing the actual property, the ownership, versus a tax lien, you are purchasing the note on that property.
Exactly. A piece of paper, call it a note if you like.
Yep.
It's really a promise from the county. You see, the county is going to be the guarantor. So when you bought this tax lien, it's secured. Visualize my hand as being the real estate. This certificate is secured by that real estate.
And
So
then you still have to
if
go
you
and
don't get paid,
foreclose.
if you don't get paid on this, you get the property.
Okay. So you still
Your
have to
security when
foreclose
you
on the
buy this.
property, though. Okay.
Your security when you buy this is the property.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So it could be
And of
take
course,
longer to get that.
We buy properties that way. A lot of us buy properties that way. A lot. And we have some sections of the people that learn from us, they don't want to buy tax liens for the interest rate. They just want to buy the tax lien so that it's in default. They want to buy the defaulted tax lien, and then they work at it. Sometimes they just go home and pray the people don't pay. So if the people don't pay, they get the property.
Okay. Most definitely. Yeah. I mean, because it's like, especially if you're a flipper, you want to get it as cheap as possible. You want to get it, you're in for the property, not for the interest rate,
Exactly. Exactly.
So you do have to look at that. Now, do most counties, when they go to auction, are they selling the tax lien or are they selling the tax deed?
Well, they're going to sell both. They do the
Okay.
tax liens first. So let me show you. This is a list of tax liens in the month of May for Jacksonville, Florida. Okay, this is about 100. Let me get my glass. I'll tell you. There's probably 30,000 certificates here. This is 40 pages. 40 pages, and there's 6 rows of 30 on every page. 40 pages of them. That's just one county. There's 67 counties in the state of Florida. Okay, I'll show you another one like this is tax liens for, well, you can read it right on the top, Tampa, Florida. Okay, I'll look it up for it. For the month of May and June, they sell those. This one has 64 pages. Let me open it up and I'll show you. It's all tax liens.
Okay.
Thousands. 40,000. That's every year. In Florida, every May and June, they'll have 1 million certificates available. Big business. Big business. Yeah.
Wow. So do you have somebody who goes to these auctions yourself and bids on them, or do you go yourself to bid on them?
Well, first of all, you could go to the auctions if you want, but it's easier now. You can just do it all online. You can sit there and buy online, but that gives you another problem. And that's a big problem. We have a rule in my business. You might not have it in your business, but we have my business. You don't buy anything you haven't seen. Now, you wouldn't marry a woman that you hadn't seen.
Right.
So you don't buy a property you hadn't seen. So when you're buying tax lien certificates by the hundreds, you better go see them, because what if it's in the ghetto? You're not going to be able to sell it. Or what if it's underwater or whatever? What if it's a swamp? People don't brag about it, but Florida has a lot of swamp too. Alligators, things like that. So you would want to go see that. So you always want to make sure you've seen the property before you bid on it. Now,
at least a drive-by.
Pardon me?
At least a drive-by, right?
Yeah, at least a drive-by. Have someone take pictures. Look at the neighborhood is just as important as the property, as you know.
Yeah, because I've seen it where people's gone to the auction and they purchased something on a tax lien, and they go to where the property's at, and the property's gone. The city demolished it. You know,
Happens
especially in
all the time.
Detroit. You know, so be like, oh, you thought you were buying a 4-bedroom, 2-bath brick home, and it's a plot of land that's worth about $100.
Right. Right.
So, all right. So that's awesome. So you currently, you and your students currently do all of this. I'm sure remotely, or do you have students all over the place that actually go to some of these auctions? Like there are some counties, like in Wayne County, I believe you actually have to physically go to the auction. Is that right?
Yeah. The state and the county will determine that. Now, up until now, when I started, I told you I had black hair. Everything there was no online. There was no such thing as online.
Right.
And so you had to go there. But we still go because we require our student to look at the property. So let's say we're going to go to Jackson County, Michigan. All right. So we're going to have a tour of Jackson County, and people will go with their coach or coaches, and they'll go there and they will look at every property and evaluate the neighborhood. And then they will come back to their office or their home, or they can do it here. The room I'm in right now is just full of computer screens and computers, as is the other offices around. And if I'm buying, I've gone there and I've looked, I've evaluated, I've got my boots are on the ground and got dirty, my hair got messed up, and my clothes are wet because it rained or whatever. So we've looked at the property. Now we've got pictures. We use big iPads this big, and we take pictures of all that, and then we surround ourselves with that. If it's an online auction, many onlines will be showing pictures and the property, and then we can just sit here and sit at our desk and buy online. But we've been there. Now, I'm not saying everybody does that. Now, some people are very good at having a broker or a person like yourself, someone that's knowledgeable, check the property out for them. And but then you're relying on somebody else. But who knows when the roof is going to be bad? Who knows when the kitchen's bad? Whatever.
Right.
You don't. So we insist that our clients go and look at the property. So it slows them down, but we're not trying to make small profits. We tell the student, after you have paid a broker or anybody else to do any work on the property or anything, you get all said and done. If you don't walk away with 25 to 50 grand, then don't buy the property. So we figure all that out before we do the bidding. So we know when we're going to stop in the bidding. So we'll stop before we just get a property. We don't care about, we're in it to make 25 or 50 grand. Now, sometimes.
So you don't get bidding fever. You don't get bidding fever. You know how the auction is. No, I go over it. So,
yeah. We tell them, take a pen and write it on your sleeve. That's your maximum. Don't go over that maximum. All right. There's other people who want that because you might be bidding against the guy that's next door, and you're never going to beat the guy next door because he's got he wants to put a family member in there or whatever. I mean, so and that's going to happen. But the average student that we have will stop. They'll get too nervous. They won't overbid because we really hammer them because we know it's tough to get rid of an overpriced property. Ooh, you don't want to have overpriced real estate. It's really tough.
Also, if you are watching from YouTube or even Facebook, please do put any questions you have in the comments. We'll answer them as we go. So just a reminder, we are live. So put your questions in the chat. If you're watching this on the replay, still put them in the chat. We'll answer them. But right now we are live. So go ahead and put those in the chat and we'll answer them as we go. So with that being said, Ted, it sounds like you teach this to a lot of people, just like maybe I may educate a lot of people on wholesaling and the right way to do things. There's wrong ways and there's right ways to do things. And I'm not saying my way is always the right way. You learn that from experience, but there are wrong ways to do things. So I try to just make sure that they don't do the wrong ways. So do you do that with tax liens and tax deeds? And do you prefer the liens or do you prefer the deeds? What do you prefer?
Well, for very conservative people and older people, the tax lien certificate is a very safe, secure investment because once you learn how to buy them and you learn how to check them out, it's very safe business because 97, 98% of them will come in and pay you. You're going to get you're going to get paid. And that's what they want. They want, 10, 20% returns. That's what they're looking for. But if you want to make money, I don't know any other part of real estate. You can make as much money as you can in tax defaulted property. Now you're in and around Detroit. So I want you to visualize some of the other counties around Detroit that maybe are outside of Wayne County and Oakland County where, the parts of those counties have been devastated. But there's also parts of those counties where all the auto people started in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, and a lot of nice big homes there, and they're very nice. So we have clients, myself included. I only look on the high end at the tax auction. For example, and I'm not saying this to brag, but if I see that a house was a $600,000 or $700,000 house, today's market, if it was good, in good condition, but tax defaulted properties are always used and abused, always, because they haven't been taken care of. That's what happened. People didn't take care of them. Then finally they ran out of money. They didn't pay the taxes. So I try to buy those properties not for 10 cents on the dollar. I'll start my bidding at 30 and I'll go all the way up to 40 cents. So let's say it's 400,000. What I think the retail is, I'll pay up to 40 cents on the dollar for that because it's probably on 5 or 6 acres, got tall, oak trees in it, maybe a circular driveway. So I can spend $100,000 and still come out with 100,000. So everybody has a little different strategy. On the lower end, we're trying to buy properties. We might have to pay 40 and 50 cents in this market. We'd like to buy them for 10 cents on the dollar. But if we had to pay 50 cents on the dollar, but we could sell it and make 50 or 75,000, we're going to do that too. So we had clients within the last 30 days buy properties in Michigan and come out with $75,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, and it's kind of hard to do there. It depends on the areas. Like you go in the suburbs, you'll get those properties, but then you go inside Detroit, there's pockets of them where they're very expensive. And then there's pockets of them, the rest of the areas are very low income, low producing, $40,000 houses. But you know what? I can turn around and rent this for, $1,200, $1,300 a month, so it cash flows like crazy.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, all of Michigan has a lot of bread and butter property. And there's no doubt about that. We've had successful students there for 30 years. 30 years.
Yeah. And that's the reason why we get a lot of people from, say, California, out-of-state investors, California, all these states where, a starter home is $400,000 or $500,000. Right. They come over here to be able to invest and because it cash flows. It doesn't cash flow over there, but it cash flows here.
Right.
So what I'm trying to do, what I want to do is I want to see where my world of wholesaling and investing coincides with the tax liens and tax deeds, how we can work together to be able to do this in a way where, we get those on the 40 cents on the dollar and then we turn around. Now it seems like in some of these other counties, we're going to have to wait, maybe 6 months, 30 days, whatever the redemption period is in order to take control.
No redemption in Michigan. There's no redemption in Michigan.
There's no redemption in Michigan.
There's only 5 redemption states and Michigan's not one of them.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe that's just a foreclosure then. So I thought there was
there's just a lot of bad information out there. That's why we're so successful. We really work at this as far as knowing the numbers and whatever. I have 4 full-time coaches that are coaching coaching anywhere from 50 to 150 people at any one time. It's constantly
Wow.
get 40 new clients a month minimum. Some months it's 60 and 80 a month.
Okay. And
Yeah.
if you do want to contact him, in the description is the social media links. You also have a YouTube channel as well, so he has a YouTube channel. Go ahead and contact him on there. Things like that. He has a website. You can contact him there. But so what is in Michigan? We'll talk specifically about Michigan.
Sure.
What is the process saying if I buy, we'll start off with a tax lien, then we'll go to a tax deed. Okay. So for a tax lien, if I were to buy it, okay.
Yeah. Excuse me. I didn't mean to step on your words there. I apologize.
That's okay.
Forget tax lien. There is no tax liens in Michigan. When I started years ago, Michigan was a tax lien state. They sold the tax lien, and when you bought one, you're going to earn 50%. Then about 12 or 15 years ago, they changed, and now they only sell tax defaulted property throughout all 67 counties. And just let me help you out a lot. Lance,
Sure.
you still in the room? When is the auction in Michigan? It's next month, isn't it?
Yeah,
Or is
August and September.
Okay, August and September, when the auctions are going to take place in Michigan. We're already running buying tours into Michigan right now. We'll go there with 5 or 10 people, and I'm not promoting the buying tour, but I'm telling you so that you can start being alert for it. So is it taxsale.gov? What is it? What is the address, Lance? Write it on a piece of paper for me. Wait a minute, I'll give you an address and we'll put it up there for you.
Sure,
So
no
that
problem.
you'll know every auction in the state of Michigan here in just a minute. I'll get it for you. There is no competitors. We don't care who competes with us because we got this baby nailed. Is that it?
That's awesome.
Okay, so write down. All your listeners can write down taxsale.info. That's us.
No, that's Michigan.
That's a Michigan. I thought there was another word in there.
Tax dash.
Oh, I said it wrong.
Yeah.
So tax-sale.info.
.info.
Okay, now that site will have 90% of the Michigan counties, and it'll tell you when they are, when the auctions are. And then they will post the properties for auction. And in Michigan, many times they'll even have a picture of it. Now, for goodness sake, don't buy because of the pictures there, because you don't know how good the photography is or anything like that. I mean, don't buy a picture. You've got if you listen to Ted, you're going to have boots on the ground. If you don't have boots on the ground, you're taking a big risk, a big risk. I mean, I've been there, done that, burned down houses wiped out by winds and floods. I've seen it all, 30 years. Anyway,
so taxsale.info.
Not dot,
tax
no,
sale.
tax-sale.info.
Yep. So I have it on the screen here, so you can see that.
Okay. All right.
Yep. So
Sorry, I screwed it up.
awesome. No, that's all good.
Yeah.
So
that's the first thing you want to do is you want to get a list. Then once you get a list, then look at your budget. I mean, what can you afford? All right. So if you need more money, go to your relatives or go wherever you get more money and make sure you got enough money. Properties are not going to sell for 10 or 20 cents on the dollar. It's too competitive a market. And that's because we have a housing shortage. Now, when that housing shortage goes away, probably 2-3 years from now, then it'll be the other way around. Then the prices will drop on tax. But right now, inflation has pushed all the boats up. All of them are pushed up. So what used to sell for $100,000 is now selling for $130,000 to $150,000. So you're going to have to pay to get one of those houses. You're going to have to pay 25 cents on the dollar probably. So plan that. So if you could buy it for 20 cents on the dollar, you didn't have to do too much work. Can you sell it pretty close to market? Or look at it. Do you have to put roof on it? You're going to have to put new windows. You're going to have to put kitchens. Now, if you're buying in Michigan, you're going to get 40 or 60-year-old houses. They all need a kitchen. So if it's me, I'm looking for you. My first line of sale is the broker. I always use the broker if I can. Okay, I always do. Why? Because I want to be in the market with him or her. Better her than him, by the way. And then the next thing I'm looking for a fixer-upper guy or gal. I'm looking for a wholesaler. I'm looking for a renovator. Those are the first three I'm looking for in that market. All right. Now, every real estate broker that you know knows those people. Now, I know I'm talking to one right now, but my point is, for the people that don't know that, every person, every real estate person knows those people. So that's your first market. So that person isn't going to, you can't take all their profit. So you got to buy, get your price and add 25 grand to it, sell it to them, let them do all the work and do it. Now I know you wanted to make 50 or 100, sell it for the 25, put the money in your damn bank account. All right. Now the next sale, you're ready. You got a war chest. Okay. So build up your war chest, buy low, sell low, buy low, sell low, buy low, sell low. Then if you want to, learn how to do financing. So sell a few so you get checks coming in. I've got one guy in Jackson County, Michigan. Believe me, I couldn't say that county until I knew this guy. He came to my seminar 10 times.
Wow.
He did 60 properties in 60 months. Now, you know, Jackson County, it's not Detroit, but by the same token, it's not the top of the hill either.
It's close to it, though. I'll tell you that. So, and I'm sorry for anybody who's from Jackson County.
What's the county just up to it? Is it McLeod or something? What's the next county? To Detroit, to the north.
To the north, we have Oakland County.
No. It's right next to Detroit. It's touching Detroit.
Yeah, there's Oakland, Macomb County. Yep.
I've got a video that one guy walks in the auction in Macomb. I've got this on video.
Yep.
Walks in the auction, bought everything in the auction. Paid one check. Bought every property. I got it on video on Fox News.
Wow.
Bought 600 properties for $3 million, sold them all, made $2 million more.
Okay.
There's plenty in Michigan. You never have to leave that state. For the rest of your life, you don't have to leave Michigan.
That's all. I grew up here.
I said Michigan. I didn't say Detroit. I didn't say Wayne or Oakland County. I know Wayne County because I used to land my airplanes there, but
okay. Yeah. I mean, it's a lot harder. Oakland County was named like one of the richest counties in Michigan.
They're still bulldozing, aren't they? Still bulldozing houses?
In Oakland County? Or no, that's I think that's Wayne County.
That's Wayne. Okay.
That's Wayne County.
I haven't been there for years.
Wayne County is Detroit. So
yeah, okay.
At Oakland County, you got basically it's adjacent to, I call it the Tri-County area. There's Oakland, Macomb, and then Wayne. And most of Wayne County is Detroit. But you got the suburbs of that's still in Wayne, Livonia, Inkster, Redford, Westland, Downriver, that's all still Wayne County. So, but yeah, Downriver really got hit hard with the automotive downturn. I don't think they've really recovered too much. But downtown Detroit they've been coming back, and the city of Detroit has been doing a lot of work in Detroit. And so there's pockets of Detroit neighborhoods they've really come back.
They got a hell of a football team now too.
Yes, we do. Go Lions.
Go Lions.
I've been Go Lions since I came out of the womb. So
oh my. That's been a tough road to hoe.
It was.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So you have a course that you do, is that right?
Oh, we have all kinds of courses. We have basic courses. We have advanced courses. We teach everything to do with tax liens and deeds, how to buy them, how to sell them, how to maintain them. We're buyers and sellers. We're not buy and hold. We don't teach people to buy and hold. They need to go and get someone that, teaches courses on how to manage properties and stuff like that. We don't do any of that. We just buy and resell. The money is buying and selling. We don't teach people to hold on to those properties and go through all that grief because people don't care about your property. So buy them and sell them. And the fixer-upper people or the renovators or those people are a big part of this business because they're ready and waiting for these properties. If you know who they are and you call them, it's a tough bargain, but if you make 25 grand on a property, move. Don't wait. I'm not a
Mhm.
waiter. I've done hundreds of properties, but I don't wait for them, and I don't buy in the competitive marketing. Only want to buy the big ones now, because at the auction, there's only one or two guys bidding against me. I don't have a whole room bidding.
Got it. So for future reference, anything in Michigan you're looking to get rid of, come to your man right here. I've got lots of buyers. So
Okay,
you
well
know,
that might work too, because I've got people that are continuously going there, so we don't mind passing on your information. We're happy to do
most
that.
definitely.
Yeah,
So
because people want to renovate them and rent them. Be great for them.
and I have a lot of buyers that do buy and holds. They do fix and flips as well. So, and there's a lot of agents that I work with that have clients that do the same thing as well. So we work both. I work all angles as much as I can, wherever we can make the deal work. So
Sounds like a mutual admiration society.
it is. And that's why my Facebook group, I really try to put that is a community, and I try to treat it like a community where everybody's helping each other out as much as possible. So,
Well, I can help you with your Facebook group, because
okay.
what I do for people like you is I create a short series of videos that you can
Mhm.
send to your Facebook group, all about tax defaulted property.
Yep.
Each of the little videos we create has 15 questions, which you ask and I answer. Then you send them to
Okay.
the Facebook group, and then what we do is we tell them, all right, now Ted's going to get on and give you an hour and a half of class, and he'll tell you how you can get the course materials if you want them. And the class is a $47 class. So we actually give them an hour and a half to get them in a $47 class. But that really works for groups. But we
Okay.
educate them 3 different times first, or 4
Yeah.
different times. Then they can go to that class. It makes a huge difference. And so every other
Mhm.
week, every other Saturday, like we did one this Saturday, and we'll have anywhere from 60 to 120 people show up for that class every other Saturday. It's 6
That's
hours.
awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a long time for a
Well, it's
$47 class.
it's all content. So
Yeah.
80% of the people will still be on the call at the end of the 6 hours. 80%.
That is really good retention rate.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
with that being said, how do I mean, obviously you're doing a lot of your research. You're doing a lot of, I'm sure you have a full team behind you. You have students from, all over the country.
Right.
Do you
world
tell
actually.
them how to go and get these, get the information on this, or do you provide the information for them for these auctions and tax auctions, things like that?
No, we basically teach them to fish. In
Okay.
the room with me right now is a guy by the name of Lance. He's running everything in the studio, and he teaches a class just on how to research. And so he does
Okay.
that every single week. He teaches class on just how to research. Then we have other people that teach classes on how to take the list of all the properties and narrow it down to what you want. Because sometimes the list is too big. For example, here's a county in New York, and it's their brochure. In their brochure, if I open it up, like the black dots you see on there, these are all properties and these are descriptions. So this one has about 235 properties. Well, there's no way you can look at all those. So you got to learn how to narrow it down to the precious few that you want. And then then we teach them how to research those. And they do all that before they ever even go to look at the property. So we go through all that process. And then once you looked at it, now what are you going to pay for it and why? All right. Now you decide you want to buy that one. What do you think you can sell it for? So you're going to do the comparables and what's the neighborhood, and then how you're going to go about selling it. And so it's a complete cycle, and that takes a person, depending upon how good they are, a person of your stature that's doing it all the time, you're doing it in a week or 10 days, but the average person takes 30 to 60 days to learn all those things, because they're going to classes with us, then we have classes online. So they go to
Mhm.
classes online to do it. So it's just like going back to school. I mean, there's a director of training to make sure that you get to the right class and you're with the right coach all the time. I mean, you have to check
Right.
in electronically for every class. You can't just do what you want to do. You have to follow the steps. And it's been, that's 30 years of doing it.
Okay. That's awesome. So you
People
got
like-
people that specifically teach how to do all this so that you're not sitting there providing the service for them. You want to teach them how to do it.
Yeah, nobody comes to me because they want to know that Ted Thomas is the greatest at buying property. They don't give a crap about Ted Thomas. What they care about is how much money can we show them how to make. And so
Right.
there's a lot of people trying to teach things and teach people to make 5 and 10 grand. Well, 5 and 10 grand, you can make a mistake with 5 or 10 grand, and lose.
Yeah.
So we're teaching people to make 25 to 50 grand. If you can't see that in the deal, we just say, stop right there. Go on see, there's always a next one. There's
Mhm.
always the tax defaulted business will have no less than 2 million properties this year.
Okay. So, and
There's
how
plenty for
does your students handle the tax default people and then turn around and the people who live in the property, they don't want to get out? How do they handle that?
They don't. We make sure they don't. If there's people in the property, in most cases, they've already left. If there's people in the property, we just teach them to go and introduce themselves and ask when they're going to leave. And then on the way home, already have an attorney that you've called and then let the attorney serve them the eviction notice and whatever. Costs about $1,500, something like that. Don't even get involved with the people. You don't want to do that because there's all kinds of promises, and then people got all these gimmicky things. Give them a check for keys and blah blah blah. Just make a business out of it. Introduce yourself, and if there's somebody there, which they'll avoid you, so it's very hard to contact them. So just go through the eviction process and move on.
Okay. So yeah, that's good information.
It's just a business. You don't want to be getting upset about what the people are doing. And
Yeah.
besides that, they don't like guys with white hair that's getting bald. So what good
Right.
did that do me? They're not going to like me. So I might as well just go ahead and get the attorney, go see them. If I meet them, I'll say, if you're out of this house on Friday, I'll see to it you get $1,500 because I've already budgeted the money for the attorney. I'm going to give it to you if you're out of here on Friday. If they're not out of there, I'll give it to the attorney. Simple as that.
Right.
And then you're just worried about taking care of a property, and that's a piece of cake.
Mhm.
Secure it, start fixing, or start selling.
Right. So, and how fast can you sell it? Can you sell the property right away? Right after you get it, secure the property.
As soon as you get the property, you should secure it. Then you should
Mhm.
insure it. Then you should start the process of selling. But you can't sell it until you get this magic document called a deed in
Mhm.
your hand, or the county's recorded in your name. You can't sell until you. So you could sell it.
Got it.
I could sell a property. If I get one today, I know you're a wholesaler, and I say, look, I got this property for 75 grand. It's worth about 175. Give me 25 grand and it's your baby. You say, great deal. Okay. When will you have a deed? I said, I'm selling it today. As soon as the deed arrives, I'll call you and we'll finish the deal. You can't
Got it.
finish the deal and just write in your contract. As soon as we have the deed, we're going to do it. It's perfectly legal. I mean, we'll never do anything illegal. If you have a broker, just tell the broker, handle all that and give them a small commission. Don't have to always pay, 6 or 8%. You can give them, say, look, can you handle 3%? The guy will probably do that, or the gal. Mostly women today.
So tell me, so we've talked a lot about these tax deeds, especially for Michigan. Michigan is a tax deed state. And you just taught me something, to be honest. So instead of tax liens. And so from here, what is next for you? What are you doing in the future, and how can the audience here help you move along?
Well, thank you. That's a nice thing to say. It's a very nice thing to say. As a matter of fact, the first podcast I've ever done that someone said something like that. Your team can help us just by if they want to go to one of our events, and by that I mean go to a $47 class and see if they like it. If they don't like it, it costs them $47. If they liked it, they'll go further from there. So that's all they have to do. We're here all the time. I have a YouTube channel. If they have questions or stuff that they want to cover, about 3,000, sometimes 4,000 people a day watch my YouTube channel, and those are the two easy ways to get us. And I think we'll be doing this business long. The company will probably be doing this long after I'm gone, because this is once you know this business, it's here forever, and you don't have to worry about what state you're in, because it's happening in all the states. It's not just Michigan. It's all over the United States. We could have the same stories that we had today about Florida or Texas or California. I mean, let me show you a list from California. So I showed you a list from New York, right? Let me show you a list from Los Angeles, just one city.
Holy crap.
Except they have two auctions. Let me see if I got the other one. These are just left. Oh, here's another. So they have two auctions. This one had about 2,500 properties, and this one had 1,000 more.
Now, I've also heard that a lot
One
of
county.
I've also heard that there are a lot of them that say that they're going to go to auction, and then last minute, days before, whatever the case may be, the homeowner pays on it and it doesn't go to auction.
Okay, now that's true, but not everywhere.
Okay.
So everything depends upon the legislature of the state. So the state makes the rules, and they push it down to the board of supervisors or county commissioners, and then it has to be executed there. All right. So Michigan, to give you an example, in Michigan, every property that comes up for auction, the state and the county already own the property. So there's no one coming in to redeem that property. In Florida, people come in at the last minute and can still pay for the property. So sometimes you'll be bidding like this, and someone come running in the room. I got a check. The treasurer is an elected official. I can tell you right now that I don't care what the law says, the treasurer is going to take that check.
Right. So,
And that can happen.
That's interesting, because I know here in most of the counties here in Michigan, usually they don't go to auction for taxes unless they're 3 years behind.
California, it's 5 years.
Yeah. Now, if the county's backed up like it was with COVID, they get a lot longer. So they can. I've seen it 5-6 years, just because of the whole COVID thing. They weren't doing auctions at all. So, but it is the good thing is that we are back to regular schedules, and the big times are for the auction were like March. And so the end of March, where taxes are due. So I think it's March 31st. That's a big time.
Well, forget all that. All you care about is that the auctions
is the auction date.
All you care is the auction date. That's all you care about. You don't care about summer taxes. You don't care about winter taxes. You don't care about any of that. All you care about is what the auction date is. So go to that address I gave you, and I'll tell you when. And those properties are owned.
So what I do is I do care about that as a wholesaler, because what I try to do is I try to contact the ones that are behind before the state takes it over. And if I can buy the property before then it helps. And that's usually around that time. I would say, February to March, I pull a tax lien list. So like a tax delinquent list. So, and we'll cold call those. But, so that's a strategy for any wholesalers out there dealing with that. But the auctions, it sounds like, are much later, and the county is already taking the property by then.
Well, they've also done something that's very important.
Yep.
The county's wiped out all the other liens. When you buy it before
Yes.
the auction, you could be buying yourself a real headache.
That is true. Yeah. I still always go through a title company. We don't do quick claim deeds or anything like that. We always go through title companies. So that's the good
Yeah.
thing. But yeah. So this was awesome. This was great having you on here. And you know, so is your YouTube channel Ted Thomas at Ted
Yes.
Thomas on YouTube? Okay. So everyone check him out on YouTube. Check out tedthomas.com. All his contact info is in the description below. So go ahead and look there. You know, I really, really do appreciate you coming on here and, you know, joining us for this live. Like, you taught me quite a few things about tax liens, about tax deeds, all of that. So I really do appreciate that. You know, I know we don't have any questions at the moment, but later on when this video is still going, I'm sure there'll be questions in the comments, and ask your questions away, and we'll get to them as soon as we can.
Yeah. And then if you want to check with my assistant, and she'll work with you on, if you want to do something special for your clients on the your special Facebook, you could do that, because you could promo it, and then you could do something.
Yeah, I would love to do that.
Like that, because you could do 10-minute videos 3 times, and you'd be surprised what happens when you do that.
That's awesome. So we'll definitely do something like that on, you know, for the Facebook group, to get as many eyeballs on this as possible. And we just want to teach people, you know, about the different ways to invest, different ways to do things. There are umpteen different ways to make money in real estate, you know.
That's for sure.
So
That's for sure.
Wholesale is only one of them. Tax liens, tax deeds, buying them at auctions, that's another one. Like, you know, there's a lot of different. Fix and flipping is only one, you know. Buy and hold is another one, you know. Like, I can go on for days. You know, but with that being said, I really do appreciate your time. We're gonna cut it off and kind of go from there. Ted, if you hold back, I'll talk to you in a minute, and then I'm gonna close up. All right.
Okay.
All right, everyone. Thank you. I really do appreciate you coming out here and you know, enjoying this live. Ted Thomas was awesome. Go ahead and check out his contact info in the description below. Honestly, I learned some new stuff today too. And this is the whole reason I'm doing this channel. I'm doing this podcast, because I get to bring people on here about stuff that I don't even know about, and I get to learn. And while I'm learning, we get to share it with you. So with that being said, we'll wait for the next guest. We'll be in 2 weeks, and I can't wait. So in the meantime, let's all do deals together.
There was once a day that I would pray for you. I'd go and misbehave just so you'd notice too. Sneaking looks up and down from across the room.